Hey, Steve, good afternoon.
Tommy, how are you?
Good. Hot, but it's a
Good to
good day,
see
man.
you. I'll bet. Go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get started here with questions for Coach Thigpen. Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Just wanted to ask primarily about Jeremiah Gilmour, kind of what he's meant to your position group room and how he's served as a leader for the squad this offseason.
He's turned himself to a real an alpha male. Guys, he's leading not just my position. He's talking to everybody else too. I see him and Sam, talking a whole lot of schematics lately, and they all starting to meet as leaders, and pulling this team together. Jeremiah is just really one of those guys that, when everybody's on the field, when he's on the field, everybody's got a great comfort level. He's probably one of the best communicators we got on the football field. He sees the game as a coach sees it. Very rarely can you get him twice on some type of schematic, and he's a problem solver on the football field. Sometimes, you have linebackers that get young and they get out on the field and they normally have to come to the sideline for adjustments. Jeremiah is a guy on the football field that can make adjustments and see where if a three technique got reached or if a shade got doubled and knocked back, he can fix those issues on the football field. So for the young guys, it's been a really good blessing, and it's been really good for guys like Cedric Gray, older linebackers that's really looking at him to step up their games. And he sets a precedent, and guys are starting to try to live up to his standard.
I also wanted to ask you about Chandler. Obviously, I know you worked with him when he was at Tennessee,
Yeah.
played a role in that recruiting process. What role did you play in getting him to North Carolina?
I'm a good friend with his mom and dad, with Chico and Trina. So I recruited him to Tennessee. When we found out, that he was going to go in the portal, he said he wanted to go one more year. And his family trusted us. Robert Gillespie had a great relationship with him at Tennessee. I was one that recruited him at Tennessee to get him there, and he needed one more year. He felt like, he needed one more season to shine. He didn't want to be a free agent. He said he looked at our offense. He knew he had great ball skills. He knew he was a team guy, a hardworking kid, and he just wanted an opportunity. And we thought, after talking to his family, his mom and dad thought, why go free agent at Tennessee and take a chance when I can go over here at Carolina and be the featured guy. And he saw the success that our two guys had last year with Williams and our other running back. They saw the success those guys had with Michael, and he saw himself coming in here and being able to contribute and get himself noticed, especially on the national scene.
Great, thank you.
Andrew Jones.
Coach, you mentioned Cedric Gray. Could you kind of go into a little bit more detail about how much he's grown and how much, even though he didn't play a lot last year, he got on the field a little bit on the special teams. That's how that's helped his growth.
He's gotten a lot bigger. He's probably our biggest linebacker we got, and probably just as athletic as the rest of them. We know everybody know RaRa and his speed, but probably the second fastest guy would probably be Cedric Gray. But he's long. I mean, he's 6'2.5", probably 225 pounds. And as cerebral as they come, and that's kind of a linebacker's creed here. Is we like to look at ourselves as tough and smart, and I tell you, he's the one guy on the football field that's probably one of the more valuable guys for us, just because he can play that Mike position and do all the communication, and then he has the smarts enough to, if we need him to go over and wheel and relieve Eugene for a couple spells, he's articulate enough and smart enough to go over there and play that position as well. So he's been a great surprise. If you ask our guys on the football team who's one of our toughest guys, he would probably be one of the top 5 guys. But now he's starting to be like a Jeremiah Gilmour who sets a standard. He's starting to be that same kind of guy and that communicator where he can get guys lined up, and he also has that commanding force. He has a presence about himself, but players respect knowledge, and he's starting to be that guy that has a whole lot of knowledge.
And looking at Power and RaRa, what couple of things totally jump out to you about them? And also, how far away are they from getting on the field in a meaningful situation?
It's their humbleness. I mean, both of them were highly recruited. It would be easy to walk in here and and come in and think that you're going to come in and be the starter. And I tell you what, those two young men have been embraced by our older guys, and the way they work, they're going to have a role on our football team. We only have probably 5 or 6 linebackers on the roster, and in the tempo that we run, we're gonna need those bodies. But what they bring to the game, I'm pleasantly surprised on how far they've come. And you wouldn't know that they were true freshmen just based off of all the stuff that we do on defense. They don't miss a beat. And I just love their attitude. I mean, both of them can play. Both of them are really physical. Both of them are really fast. And I think both of them really respect the game and they respect the process. If you ask them, they'll tell you that they really enjoying the process of learning behind the guys like Eugene Asante and Jeremiah Gilmour, as well as Cedric Gray. And every day they'll make a mistake, but very rarely do they make the same mistake twice. And they're loving it. I mean, I just watch and the questions that they ask and are intimidated by the room. They come in and with pencil and paper and ask questions every single day, just like an old guy would.
Deanna?
Hey, Coach Thigpen, a lot of talk about the defensive line. Just want your opinion on the progress of that, how important it is for your linebackers.
I'm telling you, that's probably the biggest difference between us and the last couple of years is just the sheer girth and size that we have now. We look like a premier team. I mean, with the big guys we got up front from Ray and Murph and D, we with Desmond, we're big. I mean, we're 6'5", 6'6" with Hester's up, and they're big and they're long and they're athletic. It's probably one of the biggest defensive lines I've ever been associated with, and they're getting better and better every year. I mean, just the linebackers are watching just how small the gaps are. Just how much congestion they bring with their size and girth, and not only that, their toughness. So if you ask our players this year, especially the linebackers, they'll tell you that what's the biggest difference. They're going to tell you that it's the defensive line and the way they're playing with their hands and the fact that they got depth. We got big guys behind them, up on top of big guys, and it makes our job a whole lot easier when those gaps are really small.
Thank you.
CL?
Hey, Tommy, I was wondering what changes, what improvements have you seen from Eugene Asante, even from the spring till now, start of fall camp?
Eugene is God. This is not when everybody remembers with the kid we had last year with Surratt and Surratt brought a different kind of style of play from us with that speed and intensity he had, especially in his blitz game. But Eugene brings something unique as well. Eugene is super fast, super smart, and he's also tough. And people don't realize how strong he is. I mean, you see a guy about 6'1", about 220, but he's abnormally strong. What he's bringing to this year is just a whole lot of excitement. You kind of saw it in the Texas A&M game. He had 13, 14 tackles, and that's probably was just an average game for Eugene. If you ask him, he probably could have had 18, 19 tackles and probably 1 or 2 sacks in that game if you go back and ask him. But just watching the way he progressed since that game at Texas A&M from the spring until now, it's like 2 different players. So what we saw in the spring and what we saw at that last game, it's giving me something to look forward to because he can be premier. Eugene can do anything he wants to do. He can cover receivers. He's a mismatch on the running back. He's strong on the offensive line. He's sideline to sideline, and he's in great physical shape. So his best football, I mean, this year can be a great year for him if he really puts his heart and mind to it. I look forward to watching him play this season.
And you mentioned a couple of the young guys. What opportunities do you think that they'll have to actually get in the rotation? Are you working them into, with the thought of looking ahead in their future, or is it veteran guys are still gonna, have the bulk of the reps?
No, we're gonna. They're so talented, Brown. We got to put them out there. We just gotta, suck it up and stick them out there and let them play. Because the worst thing that could happen is, Jeremiah or Asante get hurt, and then they got to go out there and take all the reps. So we might as well just go ahead and get used to putting them out there in a couple of series and just go with it. I mean, they're talented enough to get on the football field, and they're knowledgeable enough to go out there where we won't panic and feel like there's a big drop off. They're good enough. So we just got to find a way to get them on, a couple of different series in the game. Hopefully this will be a great year where we can get them in the game with some games, especially if we're winning by some. We put them in the game in a couple of series in a row. But we got to put them out there. We only got 5 or 6 of them. So the more that we can put them guys out there, and the less we can put the wear and tear on Jeremiah and Asante, the better in the long duration for our football team.
Last one or two for Tommy. Greg Hall.
With these last few days that you guys have had pads on, I was just curious, has anyone stood out and kind of made that extra jump now that are fully kitted rather than just in helmets and jerseys?
Are you talking about overall defense? Or you
Yes,
just talking
sir.
about
Just overall defense.
overall, the guy that just keeps capturing my attention is Desmond Evans. I mean, it's him with his length and his just with his strength now. It's truly remarkable. I mean, just watching him, how he fits on tight ends and how he's how physical he's gotten one season. I can't wait to watch him play. That's probably the one kid I really look forward to, especially the tight ends trying to block him, offensive linemen trying to block him. He is long and he is strong now. So if our guys, when we watch tape, that's the number one guy we look at. Because again, so much tight end in the core, and can a tight end really block him on this level? It's going to be something. We think we have a premier guy in Desmond, and I think that Desmond can really give us something that we hadn't seen here in a long time.
Coach Thigpen, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you. Enjoy your